We discussed the first 5 Halloween Horror Nights houses for Halloween Horror Nights 29 and our expectations on episode 367 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to another Horror Night show. We are less than a week away for the beginning of Halloween Horror Nights at this point. I am not on my own. I have a full band of people. So joining me is Darren.
What's up, Internet?
And Tracy.
Hello, everyone.
And Chris.
Hey.
And the mother of Halloween Horror Nights. We are honoured to be joined by Julie Zimmerman. Hey, Julie.
Hey, how are ya?
We are good and excited to talk Halloween Horror Nights with the person that started it all.
Yes, we are.
We're not worthy. We're not
Bless you, my darling.
But as we always have to, we will start with some quick producers' birthdays. Let's get these out of the way quickly.
Well, you've got to let these people savor the birthdays.
Yeah, they can do.
Get them out of the way.
Halloween Horror Nights.
They'll understand.
They will. You're right, Chris.
Celebrate them, and they get a special birthday greeting, right? Not everybody gets one from Julie Zimmerman. So
Yeah,
that's very true. Yes. So we have 3 this time. On the 5th of September, it is the lovely Nicole Rapinski's birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then on the 8th of September, it is the also lovely Chelsea Gonzalez birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
And then finally, on the 15th of September, we have also lovely Lonnie Clay's birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
happy birthday, Lonnie.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Feliz
Very
Navidad.
nice.
Yeah.
Have a great time, guys.
Yes. Okay, right. Let's get this show on the road, and we will begin talking about the first house that was revealed back on March 27th, and that was Stranger Things.
This year, you'll experience an all-new haunted house where you will travel back to the small town of Hawkins, Indiana, and walk through some of the most terrifying scenes from Stranger Things 2 and 3. Not only will you come face-to-face with snarling demo dogs, but you will also make your way through iconic scenes and locations, even, more than one. From Chief Hopper's cabin to the Starcourt Mall.
Right, Chris, I'm going to throw this over to you to start,
Yes.
because obviously you got to experience it last year.
Yep. I mean, who's not looking forward to this house, right? Starcourt Mall, sign me up. I'll walk through a mall all day long if they want to in the house. That's fine with me. And you know, seeing one of the things I'm looking forward to, obviously, they have to put in the Mind Flayer in there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see another Hopper again. So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, I'm very excited for the Starcourt Mall. That's like my number one thing I want to see so bad. So
I just want ice cream.
I don't think it's going to be in the house. Julie, have
They
you
give you
seen
some
Stranger
soup
Things?
toy when you walk in.
There should be halfway through. There should be somebody with like at the cinema, the intermission, a little usher.
I don't. It's funny because they did this house in Hollywood too. So, and this year they're both doing it together. So I wonder how are they going to be the exact same haunted house or not? That's what I keep wondering.
They tend to be a little bit different, the Hollywood ones compared to Orlando.
A little
Yeah.
twist. I think it's going to be one of the most anticipated houses because people are so into this.
Yeah.
And I was watching the one from last year too, and the girls are all like, so I imagine it'll be right up on the hit parade with places people really want to go. I don't it's not my favorite type of thing. It's not on my hit parade, but I know a lot of people love it. So I'm sure it'll be really packed again, and anticipation will be great.
yeah,
And you mix that in together. Remember last year they opened the house during the daytime for Stranger Things Day, and that was packed as well on a random day with non-Horror Nights fans. So imagine.
It's a millennial thing. I mean, it's the people that are addicted to that show will be standing in line. And I was looking, where, and they've got all these certain houses on that side of the park this year. And I'm thinking, Jesus, God, that whole side's going to fall down.
Yeah.
Because you've got all this stuff over there that people are really going to look forward to. So it's going to be amazing. I'm looking at the queue lines in my head. I'm like, well, God damn, where are you going to put everybody? Because it's just going to be madhouse. So I know that's going to be right up there, probably with one of the longest lines. That's how I think. I'm sorry, kids. You know me. I think about
for
the
sure.
lines.
God bless the RIP tours.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
I think the interesting thing with this is, like you kind of said, it's the first sort of house that Horror Nights have done that, last year it was, that has mass appeal. And it really has brought people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll be back, because and it's sort of like they tied this all in together. They're very smart, Universal.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, it seems like they're getting savvier and savvier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we talked about this last year.
People are going to be in line for this.
Yeah. I had mentioned it last year for Horror Nights. I mean, I have a bunch of friends that were reaching out to me that know I go to Horror Nights every year. They hate horror. Right. They hate Horror Nights. They don't do any of that stuff. And they were actually contemplating to go to Horror Nights just for that one specific house because they were so addicted to that show.
Okay.
I mean, it's a genius idea from Universal.
Yeah.
No, I believe you. I think what they did this year was very smart as to the different houses they're putting in, with this and with Ghostbusters, you've got a whole bunch of people. The nostalgia people are coming for Ghost. This is going to have Stranger Thing addicts are going to be coming, So I'm very, very smart. The tribe is very smart this year, and I agree with you. I think they're going to have one of the largest attendance ever for Halloween.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I really do.
The big debate seems to be how much is it going to be split of what we'll see from season 2, as opposed to how much of it will be season 3.
That's what I wonder.
Personally, I would like to see it how Insidious was at 25, where it was mostly 1 and 2, and then there was it was like the last sort of scene that was Insidious 3, and I'd like to see it the same. I think everyone is raving about season 3 being the best. I enjoyed it, but for me, season 1 was still the best. And I think season 2 lends itself more to a Horror Nights house than 3 does. So personally, I'd rather see more of 2 than 3.
I don't know what they're going to do.
In the description, they mentioned the Starcourt Mall, which is pretty much the focal point of season 3.
Yeah.
So if they're going to spend that much, time, effort, energy, all that kind of stuff into putting a Starcourt Mall, if we're, going to read into that, I think we may see more season 3 than just a little glimpse.
It's the same with Hopper's Cabin as well.
But
that was featured heavily in season 3.
It did in season 2 as well.
Well, yeah.
But then if you look at the artwork on the merchandise this year, it's 11 from season 2.
True. Yes.
And
wait.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
And one other little tidbit about this house that's interesting is they are kind of deconstructing the original Starcourt Mall set. Well, they have for the most part. And I've heard some of that got shipped to various places. Some places being a theme park. So it's possible that we might have some original props and scenes and settings from the Starcourt Mall in this house.
That would be awesome.
Where did
and it's something that we haven't seen since People Under the Stairs, where you guys actually had the original sets from that. So that's amazing.
And we had Casper too. And we used it for another house. We had a couple of them we took. We took over the Flintstones when we had all kinds of shit stole from them. But they gave it to us, when they had Casper, which was really great. It was just sort of like, of course, we took it apart and we just kept it. But this one, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they send it. You've got 2 of them doing it, both Hollywood and here. So how do you split that one up? It's hard to say.
That's true.
Well, this will be fun. This will be really fun.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find them in the prop shop too.
I'm excited to speaking for me and Tracy. It's I'm glad it's back this year because we didn't get to see it last year, and I think a lot of people were saying that they weren't expecting it to be a scary house, and I think for the most part it wasn't. But I think
no, it's not.
Yeah, but they did something that everyone complained about The Walking Dead was having scare actors in that looked like the characters from that TV show, whereas The Walking Dead, everyone said it suffered because they weren't allowed to use the character likenesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year, I mean, when you go through one of the scenes when you're in the forest, I swear to you, I thought that was like 2 of the actors, the original actors.
Wow.
And they were the kids. They were using I don't know if they were on their knees because they were behind like a little set piece, but it was amazing. It was perfect. I go, oh my God, is that the actual actors here?
It might have been.
Shoes on the knees trick.
Well, they cast, down here when they had those casting notices out, they were very specific on, and they are every year, there were certain height requirements, and you saw it, all that different things.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come out for these auditions now between both Hollywood and here. So, you really see every human that ever walked the earth. So I would assume again, you do. They will definitely come up with folks again or maybe some of the people come back because, there's a lot of addiction to being a character that is now the thing.
There was a picture going out on, I think we talked about this before on Reddit, that it was, it showed Dustin and his stunt double from Stranger Things.
Sure.
And they looked identical, like literally identical. Just the face was the only thing that was a little off, but he was the same. He was, the shorter guy, same size, same hair, everything was the same. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they get some of their stunt doubles or doubles they use for the show and maybe even pop them in a house. Who knows?
Well, it's, in Hollywood, there's all kinds of things that can happen, but here too, I mean, there's a huge pool of people here to pick from. So I think they probably will get really as close as they can, because that's part of the thing is the attention to detail is why we really like these houses.
Yeah.
And the humans looking like who they are portraying.
Yeah, and those stunt doubles make a lot more money than the people that they can hire for Horror Nights. So.
Yes, they do. You're absolutely right. They'd have to make a special deal with those guys, They'd have to make a hell of a special deal. But they have, you never know. They don't work all the time either. So
True. Do we think we're going to see the puppets left over from American Werewolf and stuff like that for the demo dogs this year?
Certainly.
It makes sense.
If you're going to make something that costs that much money, and we've already seen them use it multiple times, not just in the American Werewolf house, it just makes sense to keep reusing the technology, reskin it, do what you can, make it look a little different and put it back out there. So.
Which worries me.
Absolutely right.
It worries me slightly then, because my complaint of the American Horror Story, I wish I'd got to see that. The American Werewolf was I missed every scare with that wolf going through that house, and we went through it 3 or 4 times, and that's my one concern. Well,
that's the good thing for you this year is you're going so many times that you're definitely going to see them.
Very true.
Let's hope so. But that's anything that's coming. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
You have to exactly get it, and when you've got 9 million people going through there.
Exactly.
You're kind of shuffling along. You can't really stop and halt and, pray, but it does ruin it when you can't see all the gags. I agree with you. So now you'll have to go through 400 times.
Yes.
Yeah, the more cinematic.
I'm sure Lee's willing to do that. I mean, that's a wild guess, Lee.
Yep.
Jesse's just looked at me there when you say you're not allowed to stop. It depends who you go through these houses with, because a friend we went through an RIP tour with, he went through a house, the slowest I have ever seen anyone go through a Horror Nights house. And he was like, I've paid my money. I am not going any faster than I want to go.
Lord.
And I am going to enjoy it. And it was the best fun I've ever had going through a Horror Nights house.
He applauded all the actors.
Every single actor. He was clapping and whoop. It was amazing.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. Oh my God, that's funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've got a slight bet on with Stuart, listener, for a fruity cocktail of which house will have the longest wait time this year, and it's out of this and Ghostbusters. We'll get to that later when we get to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we will.
So moving on, the next house was announced back on April 12th, and it was Nightingale's Blood Pit. And if Tracy could stop yawning, she can read us the bump.
I don't know what happened.
You can tell she's excited about this one.
Possessed.
I've always wanted to see a gladiator die. Oh.
It's like, seriously, the one time I yawn, and that's it's my cue.
Oh, God, I love it.
Ancient Rome is suffering its worst drought in centuries. The ruthless emperor has declared the gladiatorial games to continue non-stop until the rains return. The gruesome bloodshed of the games is horrifying enough, but then come the creatures. As the blood soaks into the earth, the nightingales feed on the dead and dying. The nightingales are a grisly race of creatures that have been here since the dawn of time. You may think that you're familiar with their past feeding frenzies, but you haven't seen them like this. You'll try to survive alongside the gladiators as the ravenous nightingales tear into their victims and notice that fresh blood has come into their midst. Ooh.
Okay, so Stranger
Things. This could be interesting. Go on, Darren, I'll pass this one over to you because I assume you've experienced the original Nightingales?
Yes. Well, there's been a couple of different Nightingales, yeah. Well, Nightingales has been included in the 25 Years house as well.
Yeah, and then the original maze was back in 21, was it? Blood Prey.
You got the best of.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to say, well, Joey, do you like houses with gladiators in them?
I think that's
Been holding on to that
I'm
one.
sorry. I just can't see. When I read this, I was trying to understand how this was going to come off. I was like, well, they had to write something. So,
Well,
they have to write something, but so what are they going to do? Have people in cages and then a bunch of lions that come out? I just don't know I don't personally know how this works.
Well, hey, that might be another opportunity to use one of the animatronics from American Werewolf for the lions.
He's got nonstop games. So how does that work? I guess to our right and our left, we see different things. Is Spartacus going to be there? I just don't know.
Ben,
I don't know.
The chariot race going on. Chariots of fire
I
plane.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, in previous years, they've had a bear like shredding somebody apart.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that one will be reskinned and that will be shredding, or it could be a bear because they used all kinds of animals in ancient
They did.
Rome. Actually.
Yes, they did. I know.
But yeah, the other Nightingale's house that they had in the past was based on World War II. So these kind of like go along with like really violent times in history.
Gotcha.
Without exactly saying, that's what it is. But, they got the helmets with like a cross on it instead of a swastika. But they're putting off the imagery and giving you the idea of what it is. But if that one was a really loud, violent, crazy house, I expect something similar.
This would be awful too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm expecting like the smoky smells to be really strong in this one. Like Rome is burning, literally.
Yeah.
So all the Epcot fans will be like, reminds me of Spaceship Earth.
Yep. I bet you people are going to walk out of there going, thank the Phoenicians.
I don't know. Are they going to have stunt guys in here? My head would go, have stunt guys in there doing a real sword fight, not killing each other. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of painted on abs. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah,
maybe
and
Russell
a lot of that
will show up as Maximus. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go. But
who knows?
a lot of that like fake sword fighting going back and forth, like battles. They did a lot of that with like Freddy versus Jason. Where they had a couple of fight scenes of them going back and forth, and they use a lot of scenes. If they're actually going to like do something where they're bludgeoning someone, they use like a dummy. And they're pretty good at that. They're pretty effective as long as you're walking by and you don't stop and look too long. Yeah, it can be pretty effective. So
I just want to, how short are those skirts going to be on those gladiators? This is what I really want to know.
Julie, we can hope. Short, I hope.
We can pray, Lord.
And I don't want painted on abs. I want the real deal. I demand it.
I guess we have some real guys. They're going to have some hunky guys out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We get to survive alongside the gladiators, so I guess we get to go to the lunch truck. I don't know.
So much I could say there.
See, I'm with Julie. I've got this one. No. Or the short skirt either. No. Oh. Nice. I drop myself in it every time, don't I?
You do.
You did, honey. You set yourself up. But that's okay. We love you anyway.
Like I can't.
We love you, darling.
I haven't got this too high on my list because I'm the same as Julie. I can't get it in my head of how it's going to come together. Darren, do we know where this is?
Yes, I should have this up here.
I've got it here too. It's over on the. It's on the other side.
Yeah, I think this is in a soundstage. Yeah. Okay. Not a soundstage. A tent.
No, it's over on the other side by the 1,000 Corpses and all those guys over there.
Oh, so like one of the tent houses. So potentially where Insidious was, which will give you that, which doesn't lend itself because they tend to be claustrophobic houses, and you would expect it would need to be Colosseum open, wouldn't it?
Well, this kind of gives you
over there. Blood Pits and Depths of Fear are both over there in that same little area. So that's me. I look at this and I'm doing the same thing you are. I'm like, I'm trying to. Yeah,
I'm trying to think because they've got the 2 parade buildings back there now. So they use the half of one parade building, or did they demolish the old parade building? They still have it.
No, I thought they didn't get rid of it and move it over.
Well, now I
know they have the new parade building.
I don't know.
They just, they have that there, but these guys are way over here.
Yeah.
They're way over. F and G, they're way over here. So I'm just like going, okay, they've got to be the tenant. There's nothing else. They're not anything by the parade place. So they're way over here in their own Idaho. So my brain went the same way. You've got 2 of these kids right next to each other. Again, I'm thinking, where's that queue line going to go? So
well, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting when you look at where these are and then my brain goes, are they thinking the better houses are going to be over here by the left or the right? Or does it even matter? I don't know. It's just my brain trying to figure out where they're putting what as to what they think goes. I don't have a clue, but it's interesting to see.
Yeah, those sound stages, you know, they've got all the space and the more tech and everything in there. So those tend to get the
they do the better.
Houses. Yeah, so that side of the park usually is pretty heavy on that end.
Yeah.
But a lot of the fan favorites usually do end up over there in those tents, surprisingly.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I had things in tents too, and then I had a huge tent. I had a big clear span one year. And so anything's possible. It just depends on how big the tent is, how much money you've spent to get the tent. True. I mean, there's amazing things. You can get a $10,000 tent in there and rental. So we'll see. We just have to wait because it's sort of like it's going to be interesting because I'm thinking, man, I need 3 days to get through these houses.
Well, that's the thing with the originals are difficult, aren't they? Because you can talk about the IP houses and you've got an idea of how they're going to look, whereas the original houses, they give you like a brief concept like that. And
this I can't
visualize it.
I can't visualize it. I can't marry the two things in my head. It just seems disjointed. That's a good Halloween word, actually.
Disjoint,
very well done, darling.
That's why I've not got much to say because I keep reading and rereading it, and I just can't.
I think it.
So do I.
Get to it.
It has the potential to be a very gory house. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's going to be dark, gory, smelly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about this one, it reminds me a little bit of 2017. I think it was the Scarecrow the Reaping.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that house.
Back then, honestly, before I went to that house, it was like, Scarecrow's cool. And then we went through it, and that was like one of my favorite houses. I think they did an amazing job on that house. So I don't put it past Universal to create something cool out of nothing. So
you could not tell that house was a tent house at all. No. Once you got inside, it was so surprising. And they do a great job with that, and they've done that also with last year with Slaughter Cinema.
Oh God, Slaughter Cinema was amazing.
It's so funny listening to you guys talk about tents and sound stages. I have no clue going through them.
Yeah. Well, your sound stage is your optimum. I mean, you can do anything you want in there. I mean, you've got all your power in there. You've got lighting. You can hang anything known to man in there. I mean, you make movies in there, so they're the best things in the universe to use for haunted houses because you've got this great space. But how many sound stages do you have on that side? Not that many.
None.
And then you can only do so much.
Yeah, like you can only put so many lines back there, and
and
that's all you have. So
it's the truth.
It's totally counterintuitive because it's Florida, but I hope they ramp the temperature up in it. It's got to feel like ancient, sweaty, horrible Rome.
I think it is. I think it's going to feel really claustrophobic, really hot, and like I said, like hot, smoky. Like the Dracula Untold house, they had this really like smoldering smell that they had going. I'm imagining it's going to be like this. The scare actors are going to have a rough time in here.
Can I just say my interest has just been piqued? So we're talking short skirts, abs, hot and sweaty. Okay. I'm in. Get me a cocktail.
We just have to wait it out. We just have to see. I mean, I just see, are they going to build kind of a crumbling Coliseum-y thing? My head just won't stop. I mean, they've got scenic people. You know that. I mean, they can spend X, Y, and Z and put together something pretty fabulous because they've got, good Lord, I mean, Roman architecture, everything from that day is there. So you seemingly have a scenically pretty brilliant idea. So, we'll just have to give it a couple of points, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it too.
But that's the good thing because you go into it with no expectations. You're like, I don't know what this is going to be. So,
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be better. Scare me. It kind of, the more I think about it, I'm kind of thinking that it might be a little bit like, was Tomb of the Ancients back in that side of the park?
Yes, it was, sir.
Similar, that seems like a similar type of sort of dark corridors with sort of Egyptian type architecture. Was that right, Darren? I remember watching your video when you went through it. That was, a lot of people said they really liked that one.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Right now, even the map I was just looking at the map for 2017, and that's the same exact tent that Scarecrow was in too.
So.
Right.
Cool. Right, we're going to
Way
take
to
a
that.
quick break, and we will be back with the last 3 houses of this episode.
If you guys are ready to go to Halloween Horror Nights or just a wonderful trip at Universal or anywhere, your team at Mouse and Muggle Travel Company would love to help you. So just send us an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com and we'll be glad to help you go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone, and we will continue on. And the next house up we are going to discuss, which was announced back on April 29th, and that was the Universal Monsters. I think there's going to be some falling out over this house tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my darling.
In this all-new haunted house, the world's most terrifying monsters unleash havoc, thirsty for anything and everything in their paths. At Universal Orlando Resort, guests will be hunted by every single grisly monster from the anthology, including Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein. Each sinister environment will bleed from one to the next as guests press through the darkened realms of horrifying creatures. Guests will face bloody terrors in Dracula's castle and flee from what is behind the cryptic howls of the grim forest. They'll run from the horrifying man-made monster within Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory and fall prey to an ancient Egyptian curse as they are pursued by the evil mummy. Guests will try to escape the mysterious creature lurking in the Black Lagoon or become victims of other horrors waiting in the shadows. As you try to escape to safety, you'll step into each monster's domain, but beware, they refuse to let anyone get out alive. I am going to let Julie take this one first, as I'm Julie. I'm sure you have a lot of experience with the Universal's monsters.
Well, I mean, okay, so we did a house with part of them in there when I was still there, and we always actually in those days we always had a Dracula or whatever. The monsters have been in everything from, we had the monster show, which was singing and dancing. Mm-hmm. Hollywood has done this before. I looked at the Hollywood video, which didn't impress me because theirs is totally different. And I'm trying to wrap myself around this one only because are they just going to, you only have a handful of Universal Monsters, guys. There's not 25 of them. I mean, you've got the iconic folks in here, mostly I would say Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman, but what are we going to do? Dracula's castle, there's so many things you can do that would be really great if you went from the castle into the Phantom of the Opera, into, the different environments, but I'm not really sure what they're going to do. And then are they going to have, Dr. Frank's laboratory? What I saw in Hollywood was they started out with Frank carrying the little girl, remember from the original film. Then later on, Frank showed up as someone else, and I'm like, damn, that bitch can run. How the hell did he come from? And so you're looking at, are we just going to make then different scenic elements into this? And their mummy was literally just someone in a coffin. So I asked myself, why are you doing this one? And I think the only reason is because they're going to build a land in the new theme park.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And as far, I mean, and Creature in the Black Lagoon, are you going to do like we did that year? We really did build that. So I really don't know. This is not on my top list only because I think now they've been so homogenized in my mind, especially after the monster show that, the original terror of these guys is so far back. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be better off if you built one that was just Frankenstein and made this incredible scenic and did all kinds of cool things, but I don't know how they're going to stick them all in there. Half the universe doesn't even know who the hell any of these bitches are, except for Frankenstein.
Yep.
I mean, they're old. The Wolfman, people, I swear to God, not many know. Dracula has been done 400 times.
Yeah.
So, how they're going to make this that anybody knows, I don't know. I bet no one on the earth knows the Creature of the Black Lagoon.
No.
I do.
So, so you're just going to have a lot of people. I do too, baby girl. We know. So everybody's seen a Dracula. Everybody's seen Frankenstein. I don't know if they're going to do the Invisible Man, but my thought is, well, half of them even know what it is. I don't know. It's sitting over there again on the other side of the universe. So, what is it going to be, kids? What do y'all think?
You guys have seen this a little bit. They've done Universal Monsters several times in the past in different houses. The Horror Nights 25.
Yes.
They were actually able to pack them all into the middle of one house. within one scene, like one or two scenes actually.
Right.
Because Darren, was
so-
that where that castle scene was, where it took me about 10 minutes to figure out how the hell they did
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yes. And then you like walk past the window and you see the Wolfman in the window,
Right,
and then
right.
and then you get like a jump scare on the side, turn around, and there's the Phantom of the Opera, and
Yes.
he's blasting on his organ.
On his-
Well,
Okay, that could
There's
be
always one.
that could be taken several ways. Anyways,
see, we did it. The Phantom was in the main room, and then you had two choices. That was the year we did two choices.
Oh.
So, you went this way, you went that way, and everybody was kind of like the corner. When you turned a corner, there was Dracula
Cool.
and such. But it's sort of like Phantom was in his traditional spot. And you see it in Hollywood, they just have him kind of playing an organ, like you said, in a little scene. So I don't know.
But having the space to spread out a little bit. They've also done only they've done the house in black and white, and they've also done it with like the flashes,
like a movie.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So they have incorporated those kind of things before.
That's cool.
I would like to see them I would like to see it kind of like a scene start out that way, and then the next scene kind of bleed into color, and
That'd be
like
great.
these monsters come to life.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things from I think it was on Nickelodeon or something. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Where they had like a Nosferatu type character that comes out of the screen, and he is coming towards the kids, and it's just like that's one of those things that sticks in my mind from when I was younger, and I would like to see something similar happen in here. And they have said this will be a more like visceral take on the characters. So,
well, they have to make it. They're not going to make it. They're going to make it a gory thing because this Universal does a lot of gore and
They
guts.
have to.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's
they're not going to have it in a lot of these other houses, so they've got to make up for
Right.
it. These other ones, so.
Yeah, this isn't going to be your mother's monster.
No.
I mean, Wolfman can tear up anything he wants to. So, Phantom, gosh, I wish it could be that. Remember it's all gone now, but the original Phantom of the Opera set used to be in Hollywood. So, they packed it up somewhere, but it had the opera boxes and different things. My brain sees how cool that would be, but I can't tell you that they have the money to do this, and we don't know. I do hope they change it from what Hollywood did. I wasn't, I do think Florida does it better than Hollywood anyway, usually, but we're going to go from a laboratory, then we're going to go to an Egyptian thing. So forget riding the mummy ride because, it's going to be over here. I don't know. I take it at a time.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if they do smooth transitions or those like hard cut transitions that they do, because either way, they're good at both. So we'll see how they go.
Yeah, no, they just have to. They do know how to do that. It's just for all of us. We're just inquiring minds want to know.
Cheers.
Yeah. I'm all confused now.
Why?
Because I haven't overthought this one at all, because this for me is one of my most anticipated things, because even though you're not, I'm a huge
spoilers
classic Monsters fan. You told enough people. So for me, I just want to go in and just immerse myself. I don't care what it is. I just want to be in, and I want to be part of it, because I'll have my skirt on that's got my classic Monsters on. I'm just
rock on there, girl.
I'm just there for them, because this is where it all started.
That's very true.
This is the original, and I appreciate it for that.
I saved that movie studio. I mean, in those days, and the black and white versions, I absolutely adore. Though, I mean, when you watch that original Dracula, it's so brilliant. Those movies that saved Universal in that time, and that's what kept these kids on the map. And for the fact that these have endured all these years is pretty awesome in all the different types. I give it points. I hope it's fabulous. I hope we just get out of there and, wet our pants. We'll just have to take it a day at a time.
I'm just worried I'm going to be very disappointed by it.
Oh, I know, honey. I know. Well, we'll have to have a cocktail before we go in, and then afterwards.
That's a plan. Right, we're doing it.
I'll join you guys for that.
Excellent.
And this is the second Parade warehouse, by the way. I was able to find the house location, so they do have both Parade warehouses are still in effect back there. Nightingales, real quick, is Sprung Tent 1, and Stranger Things is Soundstage 25, the big one. So.
Big dog.
Chris,
Big dog.
what are you thinking of Monsters?
I mean, I'll say it's not high on my list. I am looking forward to it, just more for nostalgia and seeing these guys come back to life. I'll never complain to see a Dracula or Frankenstein or anything like that in there. So, I'll definitely go through it, obviously, and we'll see how it comes out. I did hear that they put an Invisible Man in every room, so you just got to find him.
Very good. Very
I'm
good.
going to disappoint everyone now. So I've never seen these movies before until we knew we were coming out this year. We knew this house was part of it. So we've sat down, and so far we've watched Dracula, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, and The Bride of Frankenstein. And I'm sorry, but those films are terrible.
We are getting divorced.
I found them just hilariously bad.
They are, but the scenic is great. I
Yes.
mean, I love the scenery. I just look at the scenery and think, oh my God, I love this so
Yeah.
much because
There's one, we've watched The Invisible Man as well. There's one
Right.
woman that's in, I think she
she's
was
been
in,
two of them.
she was in Wolfman and Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, she's overacting to the nth degree.
Elsa Lancaster.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's terrible.
What a set of
The
lungs on that
original
woman.
Bride. Yeah.
You know,
No,
not the bride. She's just
no.
one of the.
I
She's
said that
just
was her.
one of the women in the house who comes across Frankenstein at the beginning, and she's proper.
You're
Like,
playing it down.
you need to go away, woman. You're doing my head in. What?
A little bit of a different time too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
See, I want this to
Oh
be
my
good.
God. That's when movies were made differently. The actors were everything was done differently than we do today.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that
yeah.
overacting but I love the black and white personally. I think a horror film in black and white is still scarier than anything in
Yeah.
color.
I
I
agree.
really do. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so I look at the brilliance of Dracula walking down with the candles and stuff, but that's, you know,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
movies do
I
whatever they are, but
I want this to be good. Like it's.
we do.
It
We all do.
doesn't matter any of the houses. I will go through it. You know, we went through
Right.
The Walking Dead a few times and The Purge, which in 25, which weren't my favorite houses at all. So I will go through it, and I want it to be good. What I'm worried
Love The
about
Purge.
is kind of what we discussed with Stranger Things. Is that's bringing those are the ones that are bringing the people in. And the problem is that I think the people that are watching Stranger Things have no idea who these classic monsters are. And I think it will. I think if there's a house that's going to be kind of left out in the wind, this is. I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be it.
I
That's
don't
possible. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think you're giving the monsters enough credit.
No, I
think
don't.
People know about the monsters.
That's just my opinion. But in fairness, though, the one of our favourite scare zones at 25 was the All Night Die-In double feature, and it was better when it was the classic monsters than the new ones.
Yeah.
In because the Dr. Frankenstein in that scare zone was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they had,
That was
you know,
Jed's
that other
favorite.
thing, they are still, I mean, the black people know certain things, you know, I mean, it depends, but I don't know about the demographics either, about them running. It's like who goes to see the horror makeup show? Okay, that's the same kind of humans. I go in because it's air conditioned. But it depends on, you know, I'm thinking they're going to go to another one before they run in there. They'll go because the line's not as long.
Maybe.
So, but I think Universal's banking on something special because I know they want to put it in their next theme park. So we'll just have to, we should wait out and let us hope we are surprised and love it. Let's pray that happens.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
wanted to prove me wrong.
They gave it a big location, and
They sure
something They
did.
can do a lot with. So
Yeah, they did.
I'm excited again now.
Then Universal proved me wrong because I want to be. There's always a house every year that people think,
Right.
and then ends up being the fan favorite.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
boy,
will
but
say-
wish-
yeah, I will say some people that are in the know on the inside are really excited for this house for some reason. So
Well, then maybe it is. I'd love to see it all in black and white, like you said.
Yes,
though.
I
I'd
agree.
love to see the whole house in black and white.
Be
with,
awesome.
you know, strobe effects and different things. And I'd
Yeah.
love it so that the hair in the back of your neck is going up when you go through the castle. You know, that's I don't want anything to feel hokey. That's my thing.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I think we want to make it be, and maybe it will be. Maybe they've just thrown their entire being into this house, or maybe it'll suck. I mean, it'll be one way or the other.
Okie dokie. Right, so moving on, the fourth house we are going to cover this tonight, and it was announced back on May the 21st, and that was Depths of Fear. So, Julie.
In an all-new original story created by the twisted mind of Universal's entertainment team, guests will be transported to a deep-sea mining company that has been infested by the parasitic mouth brooders, oh God, who spew their acid flesh-eating eggs upon unsuspecting humans, turning them into crazed hosts. As the infected are driven to the madness, guests will try to escape, but as pressure begins to build, implosion awaits. Will they make it out alive or fall deep into their watery grave? Trapped in a claustrophobic mining installation underwater with a countless number of these slithering monsters, your worst nightmares come to life as these fiends spew freeing ass. So we'll just have to wait that out.
Right.
I don't know. What do you kids think?
Tracy, I'm going to pass this over to you first.
Thanks. I'm just trying to digest it because until that was read out, I was kind of like, okay. And now I'm kind of like, okay.
You did say you wanted sushi, so.
You know what, though? What I did do, and I looked it up because I had to. I can't stand myself. There's a Depths house at Knott's Berry
Yes.
Farm. Okay?
Yes.
Did anybody look at that video?
I
That
didn't.
YouTube?
No.
I did
Even
watch.
better, I went through it last year.
How was it? You tell us, because if they base this, tell it, I think that's your best. When I looked at that and I had a better understanding, tell us, please, my prince, what did you think of that house?
I thought it was amazing. They did a really great job with it.
They did.
Knott's really impressed me overall. It's incredible what they do out there. And this one in particular, they keep their houses for a couple of years, so they are able to add on enhancements and make some really big, crazy set pieces. Universal can do the same thing in a couple of months, so I expect them to do similar here. But this is in Sprung Tent 2, so they're not going to get too big with the set pieces there. But over there, they had a really cool effect that I expect to see here, and that is the laser lake.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Where they use the mist and then use that as like a lake. It's a little tricky, I think, here because you've got the more people and you're worried about them like tripping and falling and that kind of thing. But it gives the scare once. Yeah, true. But the scare actors get a lot of freedom because you cannot see down underneath that at all. As you
Love it.
And as they're underneath there, as they're underneath, they see your feet. They know exactly where you're at. So they do a great job of just popping up and then duck it back down. They better do it fast, though, because they're going to be dodging some punches. Because nobody will see them coming, and they're actually going to shock people. If they do that same effect, yes.
Yep.
I also expect some, like a little bit of like a BioShock reference in here. I know Mike Aiello's a big fan of it. I know this is his last year there.
Yeah, and Charles Gray started playing it this year as well.
No.
Oh, there you go. And one of the scare zones as well, Vanity Ball, looks very much stripped right out of BioShock. So
I think so.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see a mix of the Depths house at Knott's and then a little bit of BioShock in there, a little bit of that Art Deco kind of reference, as well as the big mining equipment looking like drills and the suits as well. So
not a drill.
So
I thought that house. I liked that house when I saw it today. I watched it and I went, "Wow, this is really." I agree with you on that. That's a good haunted house. It's not. That's a great one. I was excited about it after I saw that. I thought, "Wow, same thing." What you said. I was impressed.
So having just played BioShock and BioShock 2, if they lean heavily on that aesthetic, I'm all in anyway. I'll be honest, this is my second most anticipated original for this year.
I think it's just moved up my list actually.
Too.
Because it's very different from anything they've done before.
Yes. I got all excited. I can't believe you and I are on the same page. That's my second too.
I think
you guys are giving out your list already.
You are?
I had to do my list. I did it 4 different times. So
you're giving out your anticipated list already.
I haven't. I said it was my most anticipated original. My second most anticipated original. I didn't say where it was.
Okay.
I think it has alien vibes to it as well. I'm a big Alien fan. Like Alien underwater. Yeah. I think this has the potential to be very scary and just aesthetically very different from anything else at the event this year.
That write-up doesn't do it justice then.
No, I thought if you read this, you'd go, "I'm not going in there."
That's what put me off.
At first, I was like, this was on my end of the list. And then I did go and do a little more research when I read more about the Knott's thing. And then I went, "Oh, this is really great," because they are going to take from that, obviously. And I thought, wow, if they really just do what they did, even it'll be a really amazing house. Hopefully, it is going to be exceptionally done. I mean, but when you read it, it reads really strange.
Yeah.
Knott's house also has a 20-foot kraken in there that's like fully articulated and animated. So I don't know if this one will or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait it out.
Chris?
In a tent, that might be tricky.
It's there somewhere in the middle-ish on the list.
I'm trying to figure Chris out because he doesn't really seem excited about any of them at the moment.
No.
I've been excited about a few of them. I mean, this one I did a local hunt last year, which used that same exact effect of the laser going through in the fog, and that one got us real nice. Yeah. So because of that, if they put that in here, I'll be really excited to go through that again. It'll be interesting, like you said, about how they're going to do that at a Horror Nights event, because it is very move the crowds along, whereas the one that we did was like a group of people, so it's like 10 people, 15 people at a time, then you have a huge gap and then another 10, 15. So how they do that there, and obviously if they do some Bioshocky stuff, I'd love to see that incorporated.
I think they will.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right, we shall move on to the last house that we are going to cover in this episode, and that was Yeti, Terror of the Yukon.
Yes. Spawned by the twisted minds behind Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, Yeti, Terror of the Yukon will transport guests to an isolated logging camp in a remote part of Canada that's all but inhabitable. As they venture through the camp,
Chris, I think that said uninhabitable.
Well, some people live there. Who knows? As they venture through the camp, they will quickly discover that they are not alone and now must flee from the tribe of Yeti, beasts as brutal as the winter. If the cold doesn't get them, the Yeti will. ... This house will not be for the faint of heart. The snow will be red with blood, and the floor of the camp covered in bones and gore. And those lucky enough to escape this fate will be discovered outside with their screams literally frozen on their faces. You might escape the Yeti, but you can't avoid the elements. Cringe at the trail of blood leading to caves none have lived to see. As you enter the labyrinth of caves, you'll hear the screaming echoes of those who couldn't escape the inevitable. If you survive long enough to see the end, you're likely to find the remains of those who came before you and meet their same demise. You're in Yeti territory now. They're stone cold, vicious, and will stop at nothing for a taste of blood. If the cold doesn't get you, they will.
Okay, so are they going to freeze the soundstage? Is my question.
Oh, I hope so.
It's just massive AC pumping into this one.
Let me burst everyone's bubble really quick.
Oh, Darren.
This is a half soundstage house. It's sharing one. It shares 24 with us. Which is not going to be a cold house. So they can't really. I mean, they can chill one side a little bit, maybe at the entrance, but not. Yeah, you can't chill half a soundstage. So
no, you can't.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
The soundstage would have been like the best part of it.
It doesn't make any sense, but yeah. Then.
Well, I was literally about to say, this is my number one highest ranked
and now you've
original house, and Darren's kind of put a poo-poo on it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But still, it sounds like it has the potential to be amazing. Like, I look back and think the aesthetic of the entrance to, and I keep always talking about Halloween Horror Nights 25 because it's literally the only event that I've been to that I can still remember. The entrance to Body Collectors, where they had it like sort of dark, snowy, Shady Brook Asylum entrance, which was absolutely gorgeous. And I want this to be a gorgeous house, and I think it will be. And if they get the Yeti costumes right, this will be pant-wettingly scary as well.
Yeah.
Remember the Shining, the snow area? I mean, that was done really well.
Yeah.
They probably will do that.
Yeah, this is also going to have a lot of like... I think a little bit of a comedy element in it, because this did come from the Slaughter Cinema house. It was a poster, right? Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's in there. Exactly. And then they cross, and then you see a little bit of it in there. It's like in the corner, and the Yeti's in there, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So they're like expanding on that, which is a really cool idea. I like them doing that, because they used to do it a lot more, like with Cary, Ohio and Shady Brook, expanding on their lore. And this kind of does the same thing. If they take something out of Slaughter Cinema for the next 10 years, just use one of those ideas and make a house out of it, I'm totally cool with it.
Oh yeah.
And how Slaughter Cinema worked, with being that B movie horror kind of thing, where it's half scary and then half kind of goofy, silly, fun. They need those kind of houses, and they always do have like a comedy relief house, every year. They've got some easy houses this year, I think, like not as scary, but this one I think is gonna like take the cake for like a little bit of a comedy vibe to it. So.
Well, I'm wondering if there's going to be a little dig there. Maybe a little tiny disco ball just somewhere innocuous.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yes.
Like there Yeti working?
Yes.
Or a radio crackling playing
Hey.
some Gloria Gaynor or something.
They got to do something to make something feel cold, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it talks about it a lot. So I'm asking God, what are you going to do? You're going to throw in some LN2 in there that is very cold. I don't know. I don't know. Are we supposed
to carry
to
dry ice with you?
Yeah, you're right.
They put cubes in your underpants as you're going, I don't know. Wear this frozen bra. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking if they can enclose the cave areas that they're talking about, like the cavernous areas, then maybe they can just blast those areas with cold.
Yeah.
Give it some
gotta have something, right? I think you have to. I mean, if we're saying we're going to do that, it's like, okay, you have to do something to have a little area that we go through, which I don't think is going to be that easy, honestly. I think it's going to be, it has to be very much, like you say, a segment somewhere because, but I really hope there's somewhere we can, actually feel a change in temperature. I mean, then we got a really cool house.
Because you're right, it really does say in that write-up, it's
everywhere.
If the cold doesn't get them, then the Yeti will. Right. The snow's mentioned quite a few times. The screams frozen on the faces. Yeah, I think it does allude to it quite a bit. And if you go into that house and it's not cold, it's going to be disappointing.
You've got to feel something in there with all that cold, and that would set it apart if they can do that, and part of it to where you literally feel a temperature change and it'll be like, now this is awesome.
And in fairness, they don't need to drop the temperature that much. You're in Florida where it's going to be like 30 degrees. They don't need to cool it that much.
Yeah,
I was going to say, to be fair, when you're going from outside, any soundstage is going to be pretty cool in comparison to standing in the line. Yeah,
right.
Ugh.
But it'd be great if they could come up. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. There'll be some thought. Somebody's got it down. They know how to do it.
They know what they're doing.
They'll surprise us.
Yeah, but this, like I said, this is my highest anticipated original. And I disagree with you, Darren, a little bit. From reading that and looking at the poster, I don't think they're going to go a slightly comedy route with it. I think it looks like it's going to be very serious.
We shall see. Well, B movies take themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
That's true.
If not, then they're not very good.
No,
that's what you like. That you have to watch it and have them be like, "Yes, this is the best movie ever made," and you're like, "What? Okay."
Well, I think next week we're going to get to one of them.
Nice,
without a doubt. So there we have discussed the first 5 houses. So we've talked about, what have we got? Stranger Things, Nightingale's Blood Pit, Universal Monsters, Depths of Fear, and Yeti, Terror of the Yukon. So when we come back next week, we will discuss the last 5 houses that were announced. But that brings us to the end of this episode. I will say that if anyone wanted tickets for the weekend, they're tough, they're gone.
No.
Sales have gone. We have a group of people that I cannot wait to spend the weekend with.
I thought the word was torture you used when we were talking earlier.
No, I've never said torture. It's going to be a fantastic weekend.
I'm terrified.
Julie,
it's going to be great.
Julie is going to be there with us. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be so much fun. It'll be awesome.
Apparently, her and Trace are getting cocktails before and after every house. So.
I am starting with cocktails for breakfast.
We'll bring a flask in.
Exactly. I have no children. Therefore, I am cutting loose.
And 2 a.m. finishes, it's going to kill us. I think the 4 of us,
coffee and cocktails, that's my diet.
When we go for our podcast meal on the Monday, I think all 4 of us, all 6 of us will be just sleeping our
Face
meals.
First.
It's going to be horrendous.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Fabulous.
So, Julie, again, thank you for joining us. It's been awesome to talk Halloween Horror Nights with you.
Thank you, my king.
And we will wrap up this episode with another Universal Is, and this one is from Stephanie Grant, and it goes in what we've already been talking about. And if you want to be involved, of course, just send us what you think Universal is to us in 3 words or less, and that email address is podcast@uuopodcast.com. And Stephanie says Universal is 31 days away. That's apparently the Weekender.
Whoa.
We will see you next week.
Cut, print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.